Hey crafty friends, welcome back. I'm Angie Caney and this is my channel, Tings Treasures. And today I want to go through a little craft supply haul I just recently had this week from HSN and Amazon. So I'm always using tear tape, and I just want to let everybody else know I get my supply from Amazon. And if you're looking, I'm going to put a link for it in the description box below. This has worked very well for me. And then during my makeover part 2, where I was labeling my baskets, my white chalk marker died. So I got a new one from Amazon. I need to try this out and redo my labels. And then I know Anna has on her website, I think she calls it book cloth for gilding. And I found this on Amazon, so I want to give this a try. So these are the colors. It kind of feels like denim to me. I'm not sure what Anna's, if hers is softer. And I think there was a couple other variety of colors, and I'll put a link for those in the description box also. But I do want to give these a try, and this will probably be in another video, but I wanted to let you know what I have and what I'm going to be working with. And then on HSN, there wasn't as much for me. I wasn't looking to get anything Christmas, so I took advantage of getting this die set. This is a wagon set, I believe, from last year, and I even got the embellishments that went with it last year, thinking I was going to order it soon after, and I never did. So anyway, I got this one, and I want to be able to put this together, not today, but in an upcoming video. However, what I was looking forward to on HSN, because I thought Anna was going to bring this to craft day, and I had this HSN cash to spend, so I had been holding out on spending with Anna, is that she came out for the Guild machine a solid plate so that you could use your negative pieces after you gild and apply them to another piece. Well, that never happened. At least it wasn't on HSN in July like I thought she said it was going to be. It is on her website, I believe, but since I didn't have the cash to spend on her website, I asked my husband if he had any sheet metal, and he did. So it's a little rough around the edges. Well, actually, he sanded it, so I'm not going to get cut, but you know what I mean. It's not a pretty piece. However, I do want to give this a try also. And then I do have the mystery box, and I always feel like I am the last one to get mine. So you may have already seen everything, but we'll walk through it, and then I'll let you know the project that I have in mind for using the supplies. So this is like a companion to the Seafarer set in my mind, and a nautical set, but you're getting new dies. So I don't have, I do have the Seafarer set paper, and I may have even had part of a collection from back then because I know I had some stickers, but I don't think I had the other embellishments that came with this. And I know someone else was making a comparison on Facebook, thinking that these might be the same as a couple of other nautical sets or beach sets that she has had in the past. And the chair is similar, and I was looking at her picture that she had posted, and even though this chair she said was smaller, I can tell that this is a different chair, or maybe since it's it made smaller, it kind of rounded the edges. But if you look on your other sets, there's a notch on the top of these chairs. Anyway, just to make it a little bit different, this one doesn't. And then you get these other seashells and this palm tree, which are all different. And then these are the embellishments you got. And these are, I believe they're all, anyway, dimensional. I'm not going to go through every single one with you, or we'd be here for a while. And I know these have already been posted, like on the Anna Griffin Mystery Box group on Facebook. And there's been a few other unboxings already. But this is what you're going to get. So let me set these aside. I'm getting new ribbon, some gold embellishments, and then your sentiments. So there's good luck, happy birthday, there's joy in the journey, ahoy there, happiness is being near you and thinking of you. And I love that these are all, I don't want to say generic, but multi-purpose, rather than, let's say, all birthday or all holiday. And then these are the cards. I had a card in mind to make, but it was going to be horizontal, and I was thinking all of these were going to be vertical. But you know what? I think I can still make that work. This one is more directional. Well, not necessarily, because the seashells are going in different directions, and then the rope. So I might be able to do that. And I will share that probably in another video. But these would work for the idea that I was thinking. So that's good. And you get your envelopes and your paper. And that's what I'm going to work with today. I love this page. Okay, so let me clean up my mess and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the paper I chose out of the pack. And what I want to show you is that yesterday I was playing with paper and this is what I came up with. I'm going to do a one-page wonder. And I don't think this has been made before because I feel like I just made it myself, but I could be wrong. So this is kind of like my template that I'm going to be working with. And I'll show you, I made up two kind of little mini versions of what I want this to look like. So these aren't entirely embellished. I just grabbed a couple pieces of paper. I have two versions here. But this is made out of one piece of 12 by 12 cardstock and then whatever scraps I had. So this is my front cover that you can open. There'll be a page here and a page here. And this is 4 by 4. So you're going to have a little more room to work with. And then there's a spot for a tag. And you can turn the page. And then we're going to have little pockets. And then this part right here, so this is the last page. And this section can be kind of tweaked however you want it to work. So this one I have to flip down. And here's two more pockets. And this one has a pocket here, and then you can flip up and there is a space for another picture or whatever you want, and then you can fold it back up. For this one, so this is my cover. This is Graphic 45, the Mother Goose collection. So you're going to open it up. Here's your 2 pages and a spot for a tag here. Your second page kind of repeats itself. There's a spot for a tag there. And here is your last page. And then the other flip down. So this one, I made it so that the flip down, instead of it being a full page right here, it has another diagonal pocket that will hold a picture or a tag there. And you flip down, and here you're going to have a full piece and another spot for a tag. So you have some variation when you put this part together right there. And I'll kind of show you this little demo here. So what we're going to do, we're going to score it at 4 inches on 2 sides, and then we're going to make a cut down this side, and then at the end. And I'll try and go through this carefully, but we're going to make 2 score lines here, and this is going to fold up here, and then this is going to fold up here. Here's going to be your last page, and here's where you can, you know, kind of modify it to whatever you like, because you could just leave it as 2 full pieces here. Actually, you would get 3, so you get 1, 2, and then you could flip it up and there's 3. Or here's where I was saying how you can make different pockets for it. You can make a diagonal pocket here, or I made this vertical pocket here. So there's a couple variations on how you can do it, or you could flip it over and make a pocket here. So you can make it to your desire, kind of vary them as you make them. And then one thing, so I did this, or both of these, in double-sided paper so that I wouldn't have white paper to work with for when you fold it back and forth. But I know this in particular is one-sided. And what I did learn when I go ahead to show you this is that when I did the Minnie Mouse one, I did it so that Minnie was facing up in the scoreboard. So that means Minnie is on the inside of the album, and that left me the polka dots on the outside, which was fine, but in retrospect, I think I would have rather had Minnie on the outside. I don't know. It's definitely preference, because when I did the Graphic 45, it is double-sided, but I was thinking, and this did work out the way I had planned, is that I wanted this image on the outside as your cover, and then this was on the inside. But you can see how everything is mostly this plaid, and so you definitely need to embellish with something to kind of break it up so that you're not lost in all this pattern. So what I think I might do, since the minimal amount of embellishing would be the front cover and the back, would be to put the white side up, and I'll show you. So you'll need a scoreboard, and we're just going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches. and then your paper trimmer. So I'll make like a PDF guide for this, or I'll at least put the instructions in the description box below, and then I'll put either a PDF or maybe just a couple pictures, and I'll post those on my blog. Or if you can just take a screenshot here, if you'd like to go ahead and try and make this. You're going to have a diagonal score mark there and a diagonal score mark there. And then you'll kind of want to watch your orientation, because this first one here, that's going to be your cover. So if your paper happens to be going a certain direction, you want to make sure you got it going in the right direction, but this is multi-pattern. So what I'm going to do is line it up on the score mark, and then I'm going to cut down 2. And I'm going to rotate it and go to the cut line on that score mark. Cut down to the next score mark. I'm going to rotate it one more time. And then I'll come up from the bottom just to the first score mark. And then we need to, I actually used my paper trimmer when I was doing the diagonal scoring, just because I could kind of line it up with the wire guide. So this first one, we need it to go from inside to outside. And the next one, we're going to go from bottom to center. Okay, so you want to fold on your crease line, and actually you could probably do this before you start cutting. Okay, it kind of looks like a crazy mess right now, but really I promise you it's going to come together. So you're going to grabbing the bottom right corner, you're going to fold up. We're going to put some glue here. So bring this one back up, and it's going to fold out there. And same thing, I'm going to put some glue here. I don't know, I need to work on my scoring skills, because I even found with these, my lines aren't exactly lining up. So I don't know if that's user error here. We'll just leave it for now. So here's where you can kind of play with how you want these pockets to work. So if you want to leave it out and get more space, you can do that. I'm trying to think which one I actually liked better. And I think I like having this pocket here. So we're going to bring this around and fold back. But you can see how I didn't get my square lines. So this is perfect. So there's a little bit of a line there. You could use a stamping tool and or like a blending tool and go across your edges and fill that in. And then you'll need to put a piece of glue along this line. And that's going to create your pocket. And then any loose flaps, you want to just go back and add some more glue to the back. And this is where we made those diagonal lines and was able to let the paper turn. And then you can fold this in however you like it to look. That's going to be your front cover. And then we have one more pocket to make, and that's going to be folding these two pieces together. I'm going to put some glue on the back and just along the side and along the bottom. And then just fold that in. Okay, so here we have our front cover, inside, second page, and then we're going to have a spot for a little tag. Our next page with a pocket, we're going to have a flip down. And I have my pocket here, another blank page, inside or back inside page, and then another pocket. So let me go through. I think I have some scraps from working on this project, not this project, but another Seafarer. And let me see what I have for scraps that we can embellish this with. Okay, before I cut into anything, I do have these scraps right here from the previous Seafarer section. So I might be able to get something out of here. I'm not sure yet, but something out of here. Apparently I was going to make something and it didn't come out right. So I can get what I need out of here for most of the pages and maybe embellish with this. Okay, and then just for the sake of using scraps, I have this collection from several years ago, but this would work really nice with it. I mean, it even kind of has like an Anna vibe to it. When I bought this, we had went on a cruise. I intended to make a scrapbook. Okay, so let's work with the papers that I have here. Let's start with Anna's first. I may not even need the others because there's quite a bit of this. And so you'll want to decide when you do this. So I have this as the cover, but if you wanted this on the inside, then you would flip your paper up when you go to cut and score. I don't know, maybe I should have done that. I think maybe I said that out loud. I have to go back and listen to the video because I was thinking it would be easier to have this paper on the inside and then just worry about covering the front and the back. So my mistake. So these are all 4x4, so I'm just going to cut these down to 4x4 and then trim it to adjust because it doesn't look like I got them all exactly scored in the right spot. So if you want minimal cutting and gluing papers, I would find yourself some nice double-sided paper. And then I'm just going to glue these. It should make it go faster. I think I'm going to put these here. Though those blues don't match very well, do they? Let's go with this. This is so beautiful. I almost hate to cut into it. But because this only takes one sheet of paper, you could make a bunch of these and either hand out as gifts, or if you had other mini albums, you could make this as like a little booklet that goes in your mini album. And then I think what I'm going to do, hopefully this works in my brain like it did on paper. Is that'll go just like that. And then I always have the tendency just to whip that through, but I'm going to start in the center just so I don't bugger up my corners. And then I'll glue these down. And then these little spots right here is going to give you a nice place to add these embellishments, or if you want to use some die cuts. And I think I might even cut a couple strips just to kind of break up this right here. I don't know, do you like the lines this way or do you like the line this way? I think I like the line this way. And if you watched me, you know I don't like to measure. So I'm just going to flip it over and make a mark. And if I go and make it this wide, I think that should work. And then I can cut two of those. Now, if you didn't want to, you could probably bring this back in. That was the scrap. But I think the gold on the gold will look really nice. So I'm just going to cut off this piece to work with. And then just to make it simple, I can see I'm really close to 1. So I'm just going to make this 1 inch. And then that way this one can be 1 inch and I don't have to measure. Okay, so we're almost done. In fact, I think I'll just use this. I'm going to cut this down to be like a small pocket that'll fit in there. Okay, you can probably take your bone folder and just kind of open that up because we added some glue there, and depending on how close I got my glue to the inside, I can kind of open it up. And then this will slide in. And then you can either make a little tag or just leave it so that it's not flush so that you can grab it. And then this measures like 3.5 by 4. And then you could use whatever scraps you have to make us pockets that go in here. So there. And maybe what I'll do is, I need to trim this. Hold on. You know, work this with your bone folder. But I really think I got my score lines off just a hair. As well as now I have extra paper to work with since I put paper on all of these. So it just makes it a little bit more thick. And then if you wanted to, I was thinking about this last night, is that if you wanted to cover this up, you could take another scrap, maybe even this. Let me see if that would work. And then you could cover your spine. And then I'm curious too, does anybody have the trimmer that is also a scoreboard? So like this piece, there's a scoring tool. Because I find that that might be easier in circumstances like this, or maybe just in general. So if we score that, that should give us enough to cover right there, and maybe even kind of score it a little wider so that you get like a mini gusset so that it has room. So that's kind of drying. Let me grab some of the embellishments and see what would work with this. Okay, so we can easily add, well, that one's dimensional. I was going to say a dimensional to the front, but I may need to save like these that are flat for the inside. So I was just thinking something a little contrasting to this so it doesn't get lost. We could do 2 sailboats. Ooh, I like that. Maybe the small sailboat. I think that's all we have for sailboats. Oh, wait, no, here. This one's smaller. Okay, there. That's what I'm going to do for the front. Okay, I'm loving my front cover. And then, to be honest, I really think anything is used on the inside needs to be flat. So let me go back to here because I know I think I might go back in and trim this paper up since it's too tight right there. I'll go trim that up afterwards. But, oh, this would be pretty, but it's dimensional and I'm just too afraid that it's going to take up so much space that it might not fold correctly. So if we go with the gold pieces, no, anchor's too big. I like this lobster, but I think he's too big too. So we could add the, is that a conch shell? And then maybe this shell here. So let's do that. Let's use the new tape we got. And we'll just kind of put it that direction. That kind of keeps our eye moving. And then we need to put a tag in here. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't like that one. That's the wrong blue. Oh, with a cute little passport. I like that. And this tag, I don't know. They're dimensional again. I guess I could take off the back. You could do that and separate it. And then if you put this little seahorse over here, you could always use, you know, just glue it on the edge so that something can still slide underneath it. So I'm going to do that, and then let me grab this other tape because it comes in different sizes. So I'm going to use the thin, and they even have thinner. I think this is even thinner. Maybe it's the same size. You could just put it on the edge right there, and then like his tail and his nose. We might be doing okay using the dimensional stickers. But to be safe, I think I'm just going to put this here. I don't know. That'll just cover up. Or I guess I could, you know what? If I trimmed it off, we could do that. And just put some here, up through here, and then trim it off. Let's do that. And if you want to save it, you could always make this dimensional. Just put a couple foam squares underneath it. Okay, so let's say this is good. So clean up my mess here. So before I show you the reveal of this cute little one-page wonder that we just made, I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture here because a while back when this paper line first came out, I did make a tutorial on how to make this really nice mini album. And I do have the tutorial as a PDF in my Etsy store. So I'm going to insert the link for that in the description box below. And if you're interested, go check that out. Okay, here we go. This is our cute little one-page wonder out of the Anna Griffin mystery box for July, using the dimensional stickers on the front with the boat and the fun banner, and you flip it open, and then we have all these little spots that we can still tuck pictures or whatever memorabilia underneath it. Obviously a place up here to hold this little tag, and then on here we have all these little pockets that you can use for other, you don't have to have embellishments in there, but whatever little holder you want to use for pictures or ephemera. And then it's going to flip out, and you're still going to have space to put pictures under your embellishments here, then here. And if you wanted, you could even put something on the back. There's nothing that says you can't do that. Actually, I would, because technically this is your back here. So you have this space also. So, okay, I'm just going to wrap this one up right here. I do have a few other projects I want to work on, and I'm going to make those in separate videos. So I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you've made it to the end with me. And if you happen to be new here, if you would consider hitting the subscribe button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And I know I've been beating this drum quite a bit lately, is that I'm trying to build the channel, and I'm up to 1,550 plus now subscribers, so thank you. And I would like to be able to get to 2,000. My original goal was by the end of September, but I'm thinking maybe by the end of the year is more realistic. But if you like what you see, I like to put out new projects, new ideas, and craft with you. So if you could also consider subscribing and hitting the like button, that would help me out. Even share me out to friends, that would be greatly appreciated. And I always say it is free for you to do, but priceless to me. So until next time, happy crafting. Bye.